Hello! So last time we turned this into this, an art journal made entirely from packaging. And today we are going to play in this journal. So let's get started. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how much I absolutely adore this journal. I love it, and I really want to make a second one. But I have to say that both Dawn and I approached it very, very differently. We were to include 10 pages, and I put 10 literal pages in mine, whereas Dawn folded up 10 items. So she's essentially got 20 pages. So it'll be fun to see how this develops. Will I be allowed to add extra pages, or will I just finish my journal first? Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. So I'm starting off with this piece of packaging here. I think it was from an Enchantimals set that my daughter had, and as you can see, I've just been putting some gesso on it. I started off with clear gesso, and then I'm adding a little bit of white gesso just to the edges to sort of take away the torn grey board look. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with it, but I do want to be able to add various mediums, so that was me just doing some prep work. Whilst I wait for that to dry, I am going to colour in Sammy the Snail. So Sammy is a stamp from the Garden Tots collection, and I will link to that in the description box below. I am using a variety. Oh, it's going to be a fun day. I'm using a variety of blue greens and red violets in order to colour Sammy up today. Again, I am doing what I like to do, working with shadows, midtones and highlight, and I believe that helps to give it a dimensional look. So you'll always see me use at least 3 colours in every section that I colour. And then finally, I am just going to add a few little white doodles in a minute just to finish it off. And now he's ready for the project, which is now dry. Yay! So now that it's dry, I am going to pull out some Distress inks and just go over the edges again, just to blend that edge out where we had the torn paper earlier and make it look a lot more part of the scene. So I think I've gone with Mermaid Lagoon, Peacock Feathers and Twisted Citron of the Distress inks, and I'm just blending that all in so it matches the background that's here. And while I'm at this stage, I'm going to do some doodling. You may have seen the pen magically change there. I am having issues with quite a lot of my Micron pens. I may need some new ones. So once that's done, I have pulled out a load of other coloured elements from my bit box. These are all from the holiday collection, I believe, and I'm just arranging it so that we've got Sammy as the centrepiece, and he's just, I don't know, in the forest having fun with his friends. Even though it's a cold January, I'm creating a very summer themed page. I think you can tell where my heart is. So we're just going to arrange all these bits and pieces. This is why I love having a bit box, because if I decided that I needed all of those to sit and stamp and colour them out, it would have just been too much. But because they were there, it's just a case of arranging them, gluing them down. Now I did go over the holes that I'd cut before, so I'm just popping those back in using the crocodile, and I'm going to neaten up the edge with the holes. I quite like things dangling over, but you can't really have that because it will get in the way of the spine and you'll not be able to open and close the book. So on this side, I'm just trimming it so it's all even, but I'm leaving it overlaying the second side. I decided to add a little bit of extra sparkle with some souffle, so I was just choosing one that matched. I started off with a silicone paintbrush, but really wasn't getting on with that at all. So I went back to my paintbrush, find that that's a much easier way of using it, but you only know if you experiment. So some of it I'm sort of painting on to create a sort of glittery wash, and part of it is all nice and clumpy and chunky, and that is that page done. But we do have a page 2. So the first page we were allowed to do whatever we wanted, and the second page Dawn set the challenge of only being able to use 5 items, and I'm not gonna lie, I did struggle with this. I deliberately chose this piece of paper card because it was a plain card, and I thought that saved me having to pull out the gesso and using up one of my items. So I've gone with a paper, a coloured image, a stamp set, the Distress inks and a pen. And I'm going to start off just by adhering the paper to the background card, trimming that all off so it's nice and neat and fits the project nicely. I personally find it easier to do it this way than to try and measure the paper and then stick it. It always goes skew-if for me. So this is the way I prefer to do it so that I get a perfectly neat finish. So So just about to finish that there, and then I am just going to go around the edges with some Distress ink. I just always find that neatens off the edge, sort of removes that the raw edge of having cut around it. And also just ink around the edge of, this is Belinda, and I wasn't quite happy with the way that was going. I don't know if I need to clean my brush or something, but it wasn't very even the way the colour went on, but I just had to embrace the imperfection and get on with it. There was a few little details left on the paper, so I've cut those out to help me to be able to build a scene, and I'm adding a little bit of background stamping. Now I really would have liked to have stamped this in black in all honesty, but I couldn't because I was only allowed 5 things. So I stamped it in the peacock feathers to give me the guidelines, and then traced it over with my black pen so that I could still get the look that I wanted. So I will say that if you are doing a limited challenge like this, always stick a black pen in there. It will become your best friend when it comes to just being able to add those finishing touches, which I'm doing it here with some doodles. We've got some dangled hearts, and yeah, I'm just sort of trying to finish it off. I think I'll probably put a few full splashes on there as well. So all the things I normally do with different products, but trying to do it with my pen. So again, I was needing to put the holes back in. And then I just want to write a sentiment, and I thought, oh no, I can't have an extra piece of paper, but I had some scraps from the original designer paper that I used, so I just grabbed those and I wrote this, keep it simple, because it was a reminder of, I was feeling like I wanted to pull lots of other stuff in, and I was feeling a little bit frustrated with it in all honesty, and it was just a reminder to me that it was okay to keep it simple. As you see, I did try and just write it in there, but it didn't work. So that's it. Those are those 2 pages, handwritten sentiments, which, you know, I struggle with, but I did it anyway. And now I am just about to pop them in their journal. I cannot wait to see what Dawn has done. So please do pop across, because she is brilliant and her journal looked amazing. So I cannot wait to see what she has done with her pages today. So do join us next time when we will be creating some envelope art. In the meantime, you may enjoy watching this video here where I did just that with a previous challenge that Dawn set me.